What is your best I told you so moment? I was a little kid, came home from school one day with the sudden urge to plant a tree. So, I took a lemon from the kitchen counter, cut it open, and extracted a couple seeds. My mom finds out what I'm planning to do, and says, "That'll never work. Lemon trees grow in the tropics, and besides, these lemons are genetically modified." Tilda 8 years later, and there is a big-ass lemon tree that sits in the corner of my kitchen. I always point to it whenever my mom doubts me. I told someone not to use a drinking glass to make coffee in, because the glass was not tempered and would probably shatter. They looked at me like I was an idiot, then while filling the glass said, "I've done this 100 times, shatter. Glass shards and boiling water everywhere." In college, in the mountains, we're all drinking, police come and the freshmen, underagers, start to run the wrong way. I try to tell one of them, "You can't go that way," to which he replied, "F you man." So I just shrugged and let his dumb ass go. About a week later I saw the same freshman with his leg in a cast. He fell down the side of the mountain where I tried to tell him not to go and broke his leg. Told you so. When I was 5, I was jumping on a bed and banged my nose against my cousin's forehead. My mother refused to believe it was broken. When I was 10, another kid in soccer elbowed me in the face. My mother still didn't believe it was broken. When I was 14, a soccer ball hit me in the face. Still didn't think it was broken. When I was 16, a volleyball hit me in the face. Still no. When I was 16 still, I collided into another kid in volleyball. Still didn't believe it was broken. Finally, I saw a doctor because I was having trouble smelling. He said it was one of the worst broken noses he had ever seen. He was surprised I could even breathe at all. So yeah. I told you so, Mom. Yikes, reminds me of my earbug incident. Watching a movie with a friend, suddenly hear a buzzing inside my ear and run to my parents to have them fix it. Half an hour of them pouring various hot and viscous liquids into my head. Yes, it was exactly as uncomfortable as it sounds. They convinced me they flushed it out. I am not convinced, and sure enough 6 months later at a regular checkup the doctor gasps when looking into my ear. Yeep. She had to pull that sucker out with long, skinny forceps. I could feel its little legs being yanked out of my eardrum from their death grip. It was not pretty. I was 8 or 9 and it had snowed overnight and I was outside with a friend, taking it in turns to slide down a small sharp slope on a garden tray. On one of my goes my friend thought it would be funny to hold the back of the tray to stop it sliding. I hadn't realized, so to get moving I grabbed both sides of the tray and gave big lurch forward. Just as he let go, I went down head first, landed awkwardly on my arm. I'd broken the other arm a couple of years before, falling off a climbing frame, so I knew instantly that it was broken. I ran indoors crying and into the kitchen where several members of my family sat around with some of the neighbors having coffee. Through sobs I told them what had happened and that my arm was broken, and they said it was probably just a nasty sprain. I yelled, "It's broken, I tell you." And they all fell about laughing. Eventually, my mum relented and drove me to the hospital. It wiped the smile off everyone's face when I came home later that day with my arm in a cast. My parents were trying to move a couch out of the room. Of course, this couch was much larger than the door, so they had no idea how it got in there in the first place. They had no idea how to get it out. I suggest taking the top part off of it. They said that was silly and to go downstairs to keep my younger brother occupied. 2 hours later, my dad asks me to go get a screwdriver. Why? He found screws holding the top part to rest of the couch. I got him the screwdriver and handed to him with the most smug grin a 10-year-old has ever given his father. Back when I was working Wild and Fire, I had this supervisor who was an absolute idiot. Let's call her Anne. For some reason, she instantly disliked me and was constantly trying to get me in trouble or ignoring me. We get called to a national monument to help with the prescribed burn. One morning, we wake up and start the walk around, check of the engine. While I'm up front checking the lights, I notice a sinkhole, mudhole had opened up directly in front of one of our engine's wheels. When we get ready to leave camp to start the day's work, I remind her of the hole, and tell her to go left, right, back, anywhere but forwards. She tells me that she knows how to drive, and proceeds to hit the gas. She drives straight into the mudhole, and we sink until the weight of the entire front of the engine is resting on the gas tank. The boss for the fire comes over asking what in the hell just happened. And turns around and says that I was doing the check of the front, and hadn't said anything about it. Fortunately for me, the other 3 people in the cab heard it as well, and backed me up. I have so many, but this is the first one that comes to mind. It's Sunday in June. Most schools in the area had just held their graduation ceremonies, and my family is going to celebrate for my brother. Me, did you make a reservation? Mom, what do we need a reservation for? It's 3 o'clock, there will be plenty of tables. Me, I don't think so. Mom, why do you always have to make a big deal out of everything? Just sit down and shut up. Hostess, did you have a reservation? Mom, no. Hostess, oh, well we're booked solid for the next 4 hours. Sorry. I didn't actually say it, I just make that smarmy face my mother hates so much. I don't eat vegetables, I don't possess some enzyme or something, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, and thus greens do bad things to my intestinal tract. Like cause excruciating pain. My then missus doesn't believe me and says that I'm a very unhealthy eater and that I should eat a salad. Months of this. Finally, I get tired of hearing about it and manage to choke down a salad, look her dead in the eyes and say, "You're driving me to the hospital in a couple hours. You're not calling an ambulance and wasting money." She looks all superior and assures me that it won't kill me. Few hours later, I wake up screaming from the pain. Doctors had to root the crap out of me, which is not pleasant. I don't know if that's I told you so or not, but that's the absolute furthest I've ever gone to prove I was right to someone. A friend of mine was filling up his glass tank one night and leaves the pump running to go into the store for a drink. He gets back to the car and puts it in gear, so I reminded him that the hose was still in the tank, to which he replies "Yeah right" and drives off. Next we hear the sound of rubber stretching followed by a snap as the hose was ripped off of the pump. Then the gas station attendant walks out of the store wondering what the hell just happened and begins to berate my friend for being a jackass. At this point I'm crying, I'm laughing so hard at my friend getting chewed out by this old man this late at night. Finally the guy stops yelling at him and asks my friend to pay for a replacement hose, which he does, and we drive off with me laughing at him for a solid 15 minutes. Went on vacation with a friend and his girlfriend. Hell. 17 years ago. Kankin. She's very Slavic, a white girl. They took a bed, I took the other and the room. Bad idea, but I wanted to go to Mexico and it was a chance. Wake up one morning to the sound of her going outside at 8 a.m. to tan. No biggie, girls tan. Wake up 4 hours later to her coming back inside. I'm thinking she's gonna burn bad. I'd been to Jamaica, I'm darker than her, and I burnt badly even trying not to. She says "Oh that was great" as she walks in, and then goes and grabs a bottle of suntan oil. Starts slathering up. I'm a know-it-all. But I really tried to plead with her in this case. I told her she was gonna get sun poisoning and that it would ruin her vacation. She told me I didn't know what the hell I was talking about and to mind my own business. I continued to plead. She continued to tell me to kick rocks. At the end I said I'm gonna say, "Oh, I told you so" tomorrow, and she said fine, do that, whatever. Next day her white body and face are strawberry red. And her lips exploded. She's puking, dizzy, had diarrhea, etc. Has to go to the hospital, in Mexico, gets treated. Comes back to the hotel 8 hours later and just looks at me. I didn't say anything, but she started screaming at me as she knew what I was thinking. Damos. When I was 9 and my youngest sister was 4.5, we went to Florida, lived in Kentucky at the time, with my dad to visit his family. Had a sort of mini reunion in Miami, during which we went to a public pool in an old limestone quarry. All in all, there were about 40 of us there. Yes, this is a mini reunion for this side of my family. Day is done, we leave. I and the middle sister follow the scout rule of the vehicle you arrived in is the vehicle you leave in, so we go to our Aunt Becky's van. I am looking around for the baby sister, cannot see her, so I start asking every adult near me where she is and saying I should go back in to look for her. I am told she is with Aunt Lucy. Get back to the house and I look for the missing sister, don't see her. See Aunt Lucy, but not the sister. Aunt Lucy says she didn't have anyone in her car coming back. So I go to my dad and tell him that we must have left the baby sister at the pool. Eventually, the adults get tired of my constant pestering that my sister is missing and send all the kids to the park with a couple of the adults while they finish working on dinner. At the park I am caught at a payphone trying to call the police. About 5 minutes later, one of my uncles pull up to get one of the aunts that was with us. The reason? They left the baby sister at the pool. Everyone looks at me and I couldn't help it. I said I told you so. This would be my brother's I told you so moment, when he was 10 and I was 8, but I was there to witness it in all its glory. We were up at the cottage and my dad was driving our fancy new boat, when we get to a string of boys. My dad's cruising along at a pretty high speed heading for the center of the buoys, when my brother pipes up. "Bro, hey dad, there are rocks in the middle. You should probably drive the boat over to the right, where it's deeper." "Dad, I've been driving through here since I was a little kid, how do you figure I need your advice?" "Bro, well dad, you've been driving boats with outboard motors through here. This is an inboard outboard, it goes down a lot deeper." "Dad, oh shut up." Moments later, clunk. Share some of your I told you moment in the comments below and please comment, like and subscribe for more Ask Reddit stories.